The good, the bad, and the odd. It's a thing.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Right, we're back on the Hammer Trail after June in the comfy chair. This is our 19th episode about Hammer movies, and we are discussing tonight 1966's The Plague of the Zombies. An interesting one because it's unlike any other Hammer film, really. This is the only zombie film that Hammer did, and it's kind of the old school zombies, i.e., wandering around, just being forced to do work.
With slow zombies. So.
Slow zombies, but they don't eat people, is what I'm getting at. They're not the Romero zombies. It's one of the last zombie films that were pre-Romero kind of zombies, actually. What did you think of it?
This wasn't a great film.
I liked it. I have to say, I very much liked it. But let's get into that. Okay, one interesting thing is the lead. I mean, it was very unconventional. There wasn't much usual Hammer in it. It wasn't directed by Terence Fisher. It wasn't.
Didn't have any of the usual features.
Cast. They had the music by James Bernard, so that's kind of distinctive. And it had the same film stock as Hammer usually does. And so you can kind of tell it's a Hammer film. The main star was Andre Morel, wasn't it? Sir John, whatever it was. I can't remember. Sir James Forbes. Yeah. And a few others you wouldn't recognise, apart from Michael Ripper. Michael Ripper was in it, who's always a second, one of the sort of character actors you often see in Hammer films. He's the elderly.
He's always there.
He's always there, and he was very good in this.
He's never the main character, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to say I quite like this film, but you weren't so taken. It was directed by someone called John Gilling, who wasn't a familiar name to me, so that had me thinking, I don't know if this is going to be any good. But then I remembered we did have another Hammer that was kind of non-conventional that we both ended up quite liking, The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll. And I feel this is more that than some of the boring stuff we've watched, personally. What didn't you like about it?
It was so slow for very little actual monster payoff. Like, the zombies, he's not using them to attack people, really. If the only reason he's attacking more people is to get more zombies, it's to work in a tin mine.
Yeah, and it's set in Cornwall, isn't it?
It's really mundane.
Yeah.
And, so there's you could argue a weird, racist slant where he's got his it's a white guy doing voodoo rituals in Cornwall, and he's got some black drummers with him.
Oh yeah, it's
the only black characters.
Cultural appropriation all the way through. They get barely any lines. I think one is also his butler, and he gets a few lines, but not much. But the film starts quite distinctively with the voodoo drummers. The music is the drumming, right? And
it's diegetic.
I have to say, I really like that weird mask he was wearing too. It was kind of quite striking.
I gotta be honest, I thought it was going to be Peter Cushing under it.
Really?
Yeah, just looking at him, I was like, I recognise those cheekbones.
It just looks a bit like
it.
I mean, you could argue the real monsters are the gang of rapey men.
There's also that. Like, why does he have, pseudo cultists?
Yeah, they're there to work the tin mine, aren't they?
No, they're not even there. They're just, his pals.
Yeah, but they're managing the tin mine, too. They're managing I have to say, I quite like Andre Morel here as Sir James Forbes. And interestingly, he is he played Quatermass in the... TV version of Quatermass and the Pit. And interestingly, Andrew Keir, who was in the last film as the monk Father Shandor, he plays Quatermass in the Hammer movie that we're going to get to at some point, Quatermass and the Pit. So there's a Quatermassy connection between the two films, which is a bit odd. Also, one actor I thought stood out quite well was Jacqueline Pearce, who played Alice. The wife who was kind of getting sickly.
Oh yeah, one of the various chesty poster girls. for
Kind of,
Hammer.
but she wasn't. She didn't
She
actually.
wasn't it like in the film, but on the poster. Good lord.
Oh yeah, the poster.
Like-
That's the poster. But I thought she was really good. I've always liked her as an actress, but she's probably her most famous role in terms of British audiences is as the baddie in Blake Seven. She played Servalan. She's got a very severe short haircut in that, which was kind of riffed on a very recent John Wick film. I think it was 2. It could have been 3. There was a woman who was really dressed and looked like Servalan. And in this, she plays Alice. I thought she was fairly striking, and she's actually. We're going to be watching another one soon where she's the headlining act. She's the lead actor in it.
Oh, what about?
It's called Direct. So that's kind of interesting. We'll see more of her soon. And I thought that her husband was okay, Brooke Williams. I've seen him in war films. I've seen this guy.
This guy was a bit. I don't know how to say this in a nice way. He was very Calculon from Futurama.
A bit robot.
It was a lot of like, your wife has died. Sort of thing.
There's a bit of that, yeah. I mean, the best acting was Andre Morel and Jack Pierce, I think. But it was okay. Michael Ripper was pretty solid too.
Yeah.
The bad guy as well.
That guy was.
He was all right. He reminded me a bit of David Warner. He was like an older version of David Warner a bit.
I feel like the bad guy should have been, or rather was intended to be written way more charismatic.
Yeah.
But he just didn't come across as that.
It needed
there's a lot of like fluffing up from the other characters where it's like, oh, he's handsome and he's like single. Oh, you could get yourself married to this one. And he shows up and he's just sort of slimy.
Well, the thing is, she was when Alice was saying that about.
Yeah, she's like under his control.
His control, right?
Which adds another sort of layer of patheticness to him.
Yes. But what happens is, so James and his daughter Sylvia, who's this a blonde actress who was kind of forgettable, frankly, they decide to go and see her friend Alice because they've had a letter from her husband, who they both know too, saying they're in this town and there's some weird disease. They turn up and a fox hunt cuts across them. She gives them the wrong directions, which annoys the fox hunters. And this gang they're basically hooligans on horses.
Yeah.
They disrupt a funeral and
they like charge her a funeral that's completely unrelated to like either set of characters.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
It's just show they're scumbags really. But that causes the coffin to fall off a bridge and burst open, and you see this corpse. With a bloke with a like gasping face, and which horrifies Sylvia, the daughter Sylvia.
Yeah.
But it just shows they're total scumbags, right? That's what it is. And then
she kind of plays on their expectations of her. So she like leans out. She goes, "Oh, you're looking for a fox, are you?" And he's like dressed in full like red and red jacket, the white trousers. Like, no, it's just a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, he ran off that way. Completely the opposite direction.
Yeah. Just to annoy him.
Yeah.
But they deserved it. But he does threaten her too, doesn't he? Telling me to rope and all this in the middle of the funeral too.
Also, how does he know they'd lost the fox by the time?
Maybe because she was like, I don't know. Anyway, we find out the doctor's been a bit ineffectual in that he hasn't been able to do any post-mortems on any of the corpse, on any of the dead people. And there's this like 12 people have died in 12 months. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We also see the bloke whose funeral it was, his brother, is a bit upset and sort of saying,
somewhat upset.
Ever since you come here, there's been 12 deaths. You've been here 12 months. She's doing one a month. He's basically annoyed at the doctor for not helping.
He's blaming the doctor.
And the doctor's offered to buy him a drink and he won't have it. And so there's a big argument. We also find out in the background the tin mine that used to operate there was shut down. And they talk about it being shut down, but as they're talking about it, you see the mill turning above it. So it's like, isn't it? Can't you see it's working? But they never kind of mention it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But then we see also Sylvia doesn't she?
She spots her friend. Sylvia. Yeah. Sylvia spots her friend. I get the names mixed up because
Alice.
yeah, Alice is spotted walking like in the middle of the night after the middle of nowhere. As retroactively you find out she's under control of the cult.
Yeah, and she's been acting a bit like both like ill and sort of
evasive.
not evasive, more like forgetful or doesn't quite know where she is. So there's some weird behaviour, and she kind of her face goes blank whenever someone's not talking to her. Anyway, she follows her, but the hunters then trap Sylvia and basically kidnap her, right? They put her on the back of a horse and ride her back to the manor, and then they start like pushing.
They start drawing cards, and I guess the implication here is that
it's going to be raped.
Yeah, she's going to be raped.
Yeah,
that was like.
Yeah. But then the squire stops them and sort of tells them
slaps them around a bit, which is widdly. Because he's like this slimy little guy.
Yeah.
Versus like these quite built like hunters.
Yeah.
So.
And then she goes out into the country. You know, she leaves the house and she sees the mine, and then she sees one of the zombies. And I think this is a very effective shot. One of the zombies carrying a woman, and it is Alice, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a stark cut straight to him, isn't it? And I think it closes.
Yeah, at the top of the mine.
And he throws this woman down, and it's Alice, and she's kind of not well.
Yeah.
Well, she's dead. Is she dead at this
point?
Yeah,
she's dead at this point.
So they go back and they find her corpse.
They find her corpse like under a tree. So
yeah, it's weird, like it was an accident or something.
Yeah.
They accuse the bloke whose brother it was at a funeral of killing him because they found him drunk nearby.
Yeah.
And he says he saw his own dead brother walking.
Yeah.
Now they do an autopsy on Alice. But I think only a minor one.
Oh, we've skipped like a bit of this where they what's his name, Sir James and the doctor try to exhume the brother's corpse so they can check it, and they get caught in this weird comedy sequence where it's like, oh yeah, what are we going to be arrested for? I reckon grave robbery, sir. Yeah. They're standing shoulder deep in a grave.
We also find the whole place is kind of not owned, but basically it's run by the squire. He's the judge. You know, his decision goes. He won't support autopsies and all this and that. Anyway, they dig up the great coffin.
And this weird sort of gotcha moment. It's like, you won't mind me checking, will you? And it opens the coffin and it's empty. So. And
immediately the policeman becomes on their side.
Yeah.
What's happened here? And they sort of start explaining.
Which is the only sensible policeman in like all of these horror films that we've watched.
Yeah.
I swear, like they show them something weird and the police was like, okay, you clearly know something's going on. Help me out here, please.
So, Michael Ripper. Very, very good role for Michael Ripper.
Yeah.
I actually quite like this character too, and I thought he did a good job. So they find also that there's blood smeared on her face, but when they check it, it's not human.
Yeah, it's not human blood. They suspect. They briefly check out the idea if she was attacked by an animal, but the implication here would be she savaged the animal and then died having received no other injuries. So
weird. I should have mentioned when we first see Alice, she's got like an injury on her arm, which she keeps which is a cut. But we also see the voodoo guy, who is obviously the squire. It's kind of we know it's the squire. He's basically causing people to have accidental injuries so he can get a bit of blood, which he uses in his ceremonies to turn people into zombies. Right? That's the gist of it. And so James actually, he says, "Oh, who was here?" It was the squire, and saying, "Did he break? Did he hurt himself on a glass?" And there's all this. So he's kind of figuring out what's going on. So I think, doesn't the squire go see Sylvia again just to apologise again? But at this accidentally smashes a wine glass. She cuts her finger, and then we see him like say, "Oh, pour it into this glass. It's the best cure." And then he it's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And
this is after she's like, "Please leave me alone."
Yeah.
In an earlier scene, he shows up and she's like, "Go away, please. Don't want anything to do with this."
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So they fight at Alice's funeral. Sylvia starts feeling ill. Then, so it'd be this plague thing they're trying to investigate. But then Sir James works out that the Squire lived in Haiti for. How do you say it? I never say it. Haiti for a few years, and reckons he's been doing voodoo. I was going to say voodoo. So there's
there is a clip in this that I feel like I need to isolate of these like three white guys all stood around a table, and one of them just goes, "Have you heard of voodoo?"
And doesn't one say, "Oh, the priest says, oh, it's all a bit beyond me," or something like that?
Yeah, the Sir James goes up to like the priest, is like, "I hear you have a good library. Do you have any books on black magic?" And it's just it's like, what? And the priest is like, "Oh yeah, I've got a load. Here, we need to talk in private." It's like,
yeah, this priest, right?
What?
Dodgy. I have to say, there is a scene. I'm trying to remember where the scene was coming. There is quite an effect. Although it's they go dig up Alice, don't they? And she rises from the grave. I thought this was a very effective sequence, actually. Both Alice just crawling out with a grey face.
Creepy.
Say what?
She's really creepy in that bit.
Yeah, it's really creepy, and it's like weird, and she slowly moves. It reminded me of the whole Bloofer lady in Dracula, right? It was a bit like that. But Sir James won't have none of it, and he pulls out. He gets hold of a shovel and just chops her head off, basically.
Yeah.
But then we see her husband kind of witness all these zombies starting to rise from graves and surrounding him.
Yeah.
And that again is a really creepy sequence.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And
it's a shame that the zombies are literally never scary again in the film. So.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not. But they are scary in this bit, for sure. I reckon. But as they got encroaching in on him, he wakes up and it's a dream. But it's weird that he dreamt about the zombies that actually exist, but there you go, that he hadn't seen before. But yeah, okay, so that was probably the highlight for me, actually, that whole sequence.
Yeah,
I thought that was
like I say, it's kind of boring otherwise. The zombies that kind of it becomes a bit urban fantasy-ish almost. Where
maybe.
Weirdly, I watched last night. Well, before I watched this, I watched the episode of What We Do in the Shadows with the zombie.
Oh yeah.
Where at the very end, Benedict Wong's got them all like building making the like shitty little keychains in his basement.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of that. Like literally the same resolution you play in a comedy, and it's got the same effect.
And they are a bit Nick Frost at the end of Shaun of the Dead as well.
Yeah.
Or a bit like that. Anyway, they Sylvia gets
she gets like
taken away,
controlled. Yeah, she gets taken away.
Yeah, she gets taken away. The husband goes and chases. Meanwhile, Sir James is trying to sort of find out what's going on too. And what happens is they accidentally a fire starts in the mine. Oh, well, we do get scenes of these.
Well, no, it's not a fire starts in the mine. It's Sir James starts a fire at the guy's house.
Okay,
and that leads to it burns the like little coffins with the effigies that he's using to control the zombies.
So
that causes them to ignite.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I didn't realise that. I thought I couldn't understand why suddenly the zombies started smoking because I understand now. It makes sense. I have to say that bit where a stuntman was fighting a fire in that room that looked really dangerous to me.
Well, I feel like that was one of those, hey, this guy actually did this and got very badly hurt, and then they just left it in the film.
Yeah, it looked really dangerous. It looked super dangerous. I mean, the heat coming off of that fire must have been intense as well. So the zombies kind of, they lose the power over the zombies, don't they? So the zombies not attack, but they're more like crowding in people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Getting in the way.
They trap you in. So.
And they're about to sacrifice Sylvia with a knife. The husband intervenes, manages to fight him off, but then once the fire kicks off, all the blokes just run away. They decide to go further into the mine, basically, for reasons I don't know. Meanwhile, the Squire's wearing his creepy headset thing, with a red cross on the forehead. Bit Spanish Inquisition, really. Also, I have to say, they keep doing Latin. I'm not sure Latin's a part of voodoo. It might be.
No,
because,
it's straight not.
well, voodoo's kind of got elements of Catholicism in. It's kind of a weird amalgam. So it might have, but I've never heard of voodoo having Latin. But anyway, it might have. I don't know. So basically, the zombies are just kind of wandering around. It is funny because they move from like having grey faces to having weird masks whenever they're on fire. Obviously, the stuntmen doing the fire effects have these masks that aren't very convincing.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of to and fro. Basically, Sir James Peter get in the lift. They're just about to be hit by the squire with a big rock, but a zombie gets in the way as he's throwing the rock. So they manage to get up in the lift. They just look at the squire's face as they go up. And the mine's left, and we're in all the screaming, and the zombies get burnt too. So and then it ends.
Yeah.
So
it literally has no resolution after the fire starts.
Yeah.
It's like the guy, you don't see him die, but he gets locked in the mine with all the burning zombies.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And the last shot is just it holds on the burning mine, and then the credits roll over it, and that's it.
Okay, but you don't think it's a good film? You did.
No.
I did.
I was very much.
I liked it better than, say, Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Quite a fair bit more than that, actually. I thought it was way more entertaining. It kept my interest all the way through. Just having a look at some of the... Oh, get this. It was actually shot back-to-back with The Reptile, using the same sets. So we're going to see the village again in The Reptile. And Jacqueline Pierce is the... Jacqueline Pierce and Michael Ripper are in both films. So Michael Ripper again reappears, but that's nothing unusual for a Hammer film.
And it's also directed by John Gilling.
Yeah, indeed. He shot 2 movies at the same time.
Wow, that's a hardcore work ethic there.
I thought this was quite well directed, I have to say. It wasn't a much lesser film. I was expecting if Terence Fisher wasn't directed or one of the other.
Oh, he also wrote The Gorgon.
Yeah, but The Gorgon wasn't a great story.
No.
Though we liked the visuals were pretty something in The Gorgon, especially old Peter Cushing's mutton chops. That was really something. Now it looks like a lot of reviewers at the time, or a lot of reviewers generally, actually like this film pretty much, actually.
Yeah.
For example, recently, AllMovie have called it a spooky atmospheric horror opus, ranking among Hammer Films' finest. I think that's a bit strong.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's top half, but I don't think you're as impressed, are you? Right. And it's kind of interesting that it's probably the last zombie film before George Romero made Night of the Living Dead and totally changed the genre. And, the horror movie as Romero zombies, it took a while for the traction, but man, they kind of dominate. They dominate a lot of horror. Them and slashers kind of dominate horror for a long time. But I liked it. I thought it was well directed, and I liked it top to bottom, really. It wasn't the greatest Hammer film, but I thought it was all right. Got any final thoughts?
The first thing, I think this is probably the earliest film I can think of that actually used the term creepy.
Oh, they use the word creepy in it, do they?
Yeah, there's like a bit where they're just sort of, I think it's when they're doing the exposition on the tin mine, and the guy the doctor just sort of, he stood there and just goes, pretty creepy. Just like offhandedly. I can't think of anything earlier, and this is already like weirdly early for that's like, I don't think of creepy as 60s vernacular sort of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. There were comics around in the early 70s called Creepy. So
yeah, I can imagine like comics having it, but not like films, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I've read a comic strip version of this in the original magazine House of Hammer, and it was okay. I think the film's a better way to have this story than a comic book, actually, because it's fairly slow paced, right? It's fairly slow paced. It's not an actiony kind of thing. Okay, what would you give it out? Sorry, what would you give it on your rating system?
I'd give it like 4, and it's only that high because of that one zombie scene.
Yeah, which was a good scene. Very effective scene. I would give this a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty solid piece of Hammer, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Okay, well, so next time we come back to Hammer, we got Christopher Lee's back, just so you know. Rasputin the Mad Monk, with Christopher Lee in the lead. So that's something to look forward to. He looks a bit like an early version of Saruman, actually. That's kind of how he looks in it.
Okay.
So
weirdly, I'm actually watching the Lord of the Rings films at the moment because yesterday was the 20th anniversary of the release of Fellowship of the Ring.
20 years, wow.
Yeah.
Such a great series too. Such a great series. All right then, let's wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.